Hi everyone, it's Diane Evans with stampingwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So welcome to my YouTube or my Facebook. This will look like it's going live, but I have pre-recorded it just because I wanted to keep sharing my techniques and my card sketches when I was away doing my Stampin' Up in the Netherlands. In any event, you guys, welcome back. And today we're going to do a technique that it's another watercoloring technique. And watercoloring is it's just one of those techniques that there's so many different ways that you can go about doing it. And this is one way that I showed brand new stampers and they were totally amazed with it. So I knew that I had to share it with you. So this is technique called Watercolor Stamping Technique. It's episode number 94. And this will be this should be March the 12th for you. So this is to me, they're cheaters. Anything that you do with watercoloring with our different stamps and that sort of stuff are cheaters with Stampin' Up. That's how I feel. So I tried this with the Fluid 100 paper and it didn't work as well. It works up the best, I think, with just thick, basic white paper. You could even use the thin stuff, which is okay. Now, what you need to do is you need to have a silicone mat. And this is a bit messy, and I probably should have had my glass mat down. However, some people were saying that it made too much noise and there was quite a glare from it. So I didn't want that to be an issue. So I'm just going to move this off to the side there. The colors that we're going to use, I'm going to use some Pretty Peacock, some Lost Lagoon, and Pool Party, but it's going to be more probably the Pretty Peacock and the, well, I'm not sure. Now, this was one that you could get for free with your celebration. So if you didn't pick it up, you'll be kind of sorry that you didn't. There's some great sayings on here. You mean the world to me. Thank you for everything are great sayings. But this is one. I remember when I actually did this on a live and somebody went and said, oh, I think that's the ugliest stamp set I've ever seen. So I don't. I think it's a great stamp set. So I'm using this one in particular. And then I'm also using this Gorgeously Made, and I'm going to use this particular one as well. So I've got those mounted, those two that are there. Now, what you do is you take your stamp pad, and you don't need any really special tools. You could even do this if you had stamping spots. I'm just going to go and I'm going to put some Pretty Peacock on there. I'm going to come and put some Lost Lagoon on here. Now, you want to make sure that you don't contaminate them. So you're not going to bring them into one another, right? Because otherwise, then what could happen is then you're not getting your true colors. And then I'm also going to come in with a tiny bit of the Pool Party. I'm hoping that you enjoy my my stamping techniques. Some of them might be remakes or redos or whatever of ones that you've done in the past. But I do try to come up with new ones all the time. Sometimes they're made up. Sometimes I go to an artist and I figure out how they do it as an artist. That's sometimes, or I would I would go to my son and basically say, what do you think artist technique I could do? All right, so you're going to color those from 3 different pads, 2 to 3 different color pads. Now, what we want to do, and I probably didn't bring that with me, and that is a real sad thing that I didn't. I'm hoping that this is, what you want to do is you want to take a spritzer, and I'm hoping that this spritzer works. Yeah, it's going to work. And you just want to spritz up that paper, just like that. And then all you're going to do is you're going to come in with your water painter. And I'm not using the tub here because I don't really want too much more water. And what I want to do is I want to kind of move these together so that there aren't lines. And remember, they're spritzed. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as my stamp pad. That's how simple this technique really is. But it just shows you that you can go ahead and do things like that. So I'm coming in with this particular one, and I'm just going to stamp some of this. So I'm using all 3 colors on this. Oops. And we're just going to go ahead and stamp it just like that. Now, we're going to be very careful that we make sure that none of this runs into one another. And I would also then, another good friend of yours is going to be just a piece of paper towel. Let's move that around so we've got a different color going there. And let's go and put that, say, down here. I'm just going to come here. Now, what I'm also going to show you is how this looks on Fluid 100 paper. I find it kind of does something a little bit different on it. So let me just stamp that. So we've got one to compare it to. And then, you know what it's going to do is it's going to make a liar out of me. I know it will. All right, so let's just color that off. Go back in. And let's just put another one over here. And then we're going to come in with that real, that's going to make a liar out of me. That looks pretty cool. It's the same size as this. So why don't I just go and we can stamp it. And we might decide that we're going to use the watercolor paper instead on this particular project. It's going to make a liar out of me. It really is, because that's not how this turned out to begin with when I was playing with it. All right, so like I say, I'm going to turn around and let's color a little bit different over here. I kind of like it on that paper. All right, so then we have this other one that is from this Generously Made. It can be any kind of a script sort of thing. We want to have that on there. So I'm just going to come in. That almost looks like it's upside down. And remember, I'm just going to clean that off just a tiny bit. I think it was this one that I didn't like too much. But I'm quite liking that. There we go. And let's get another one of these on there. And see how that is. So we can use the watercolor paper or the basic white. And then at this point, then you're just going to go and just quickly wash that off. I'm not going to do that now while we're doing this. And now we can just put the card together. So I'm going to remove this water too, because it just makes sense, complete sense for that. All right, so the rest of the card I've got here is, we're just going to let that dry. Geez, I quite like that. I guess what happened was I had too much water on the watercolor paper, but it just depends what way you want this. Do you want it to be there, or do you want it to be, and I'd have to cut it down if I'm going to use it. I think I might use the watercolor one on here and just show you the other one with it. Okay, so my paper, I've used Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon. Now let me cut this down. This piece should be, let's see, this is 3 3/4 by 5. So this would be 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So let me just go and quickly cut that. 3 3/4, 4 3/4. So let's just see how that would work. All right, so that's just going to go onto there. Now, because it is the thicker, and also I think it kind of matters if you're using the thick or the light basic white. In the instructions, I said the thick basic white, but this one that I did was on the thin basic white. But I still like that one. That one's really still very, very pretty. But see how you can use your stamps. You can fill it in a little bit more if you want to. That sort of stuff. All right. And then this piece is just going to go on here. And then I decided, you know what, let's bring in our Notes of Nature. So I really like this particular one. So we're going to put that across there. And I'm going to have to trim this off afterwards, but I'm okay with doing that. And then I had another, I know, that piece fell out. It was a piece of basic white for our sentiment. And now it's not there. It's no problem. I'll just get another one. And we'll just quickly do that. I have lots of white scrap paper. So on here, we're going to also use the Notes of Nature, and I'm going to use that just a little hello on there. And that is right on here. And I'm going to use that in, I think I'll have to do that in the Pretty Peacock, just to make sure that it will show up on here. So let's just put it about there. And then we're going to take this piece of Pretty Peacock. We're also going to put this across here, and we're going to do some trimming off in a bit. This is crooked. So let me just straighten that out. How can I get something so crooked? There we go. It was definitely crooked. So I'm just going to lay this across the top here, and then I'm going to trim that off also. Just make sure we've got that. There. Then this is going to go on here. So I'm going to trim this part off right now. I will go in after this has gone live, and I actually will go in and make some comments. Remember to share my video. I really do appreciate it when you do that for me. So this is just going to go on here. And you notice I don't put this piece onto here until I've got this part trimmed off. That's just going to go on there. Let's just close up that stamp set. Get that out of our way. So simple, and you can create your own color combinations and everything else. Just like so. And then this is going to go onto here. I think I might bring that up just a bit. Okay, let's put that on. I want it so that something shows through those holes there. Whoops. You want to make sure that that stays on there and it's straight. So we'll just hold that just for a sec. So those silicone mats are amazing tools. Anybody that doesn't have one, I would suggest to get one. And if you already have one, I would suggest to get another one because you can use it in so many different things. Okay, then this is just going to go right onto here. And then I'm thinking too, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some ribbon and some gems on here. But I'm thinking, I know I did something on one of the cards, and I'm thinking I'm going to try doing something else. I don't know how it's going to work, so let's just give it a try. So I really like this Lost Lagoon ribbon, but I just think that sometimes when you tie a bow with that, you know, I couldn't use this for a masculine card. Well, I could, I guess. But I'm going to come in and I want to include some of this. Now it's 9 inches that I use for a bow. And then I cut it all off and everything else. So let me just go and let's tie a bow with this linen thread, because I think that'll add just a bit of differentness. Is that even a word? Okay. That, I don't know why it's like that, but we're going to get it out so that it works okay. And I'm okay with it being completely uneven. Just going to bring that through there. No, maybe I'll bring it through the other way. And then we're just going to put this on with a glue dot. But I think it's nice with the other part on there with the baker's twine, the linen thread. It just adds something else to it. And remember with your bows that you want to make sure everything's tight. That way it stays together. And we're going to put this on with a glue dot. Just like so. There we go. And then we do have some gems. These are apparently supposed to be Lost Lagoon, but they're more like a pool party. So I think what I'll do is I'll come in with my dark peacock Stamp and Blend, and let's just color this and make it just a little bit darker. Yeah, that'll be a little bit better. So there. Yeah, that's a little bit better than the other one that I had because I had them quite light. And let's just put one here. Now, of course, we have to do something with the inside of the card. So what better way than to stamp? And so I'm going to come in actually with the pretty peacock because I think that's more the color of what came out with the ink. And I'm just going to, now that the stamp is completely dry, and it's not going to look kind of funny in there, and just like that. Now, what I could do, and this might work out okay, is I could spritz that. And that is what also, there was something I had here. You know what? I'm going to come in and we're going to put a bit of spritzing on, not spritzing, splattering on here. So I have this. Just going to come in with that water. Just going to get this a little bit. So let's just splatter this. And a bit of splattering on this white part here. Oh my goodness, I got to get some more in there. Now, like I say, if there's not enough color in here, what you could do is you could go in and it's not splattering where I want it to splatter. Well, there's another way of doing that too. Could come in with my pretty peacock, blend, and a little bit of splattering right in there. And that will save the day. So there we go there. Just like this. And this one is a little bit wet, so I have to be careful with it. So let's color that. And there we go. So that's your watercolor stamping technique. So think about how you can do an awful lot of different colors in there on your silicone mat, and that will allow you to have a whole array of different colors on there. So I hope you enjoyed that. Remember to come back on Saturday at 10 Pacific time, and there will be another card sketch because I will be pre-recording my card sketches and my techniques. All right, you guys, remember to give me the thumbs up, share my video. I really do appreciate it. And remember to create because it's great for the soul. Bye for now.